Hello everyone, welcome to Real Life Talks. My name is Yvonne Heath and I am joined by Nadine Ritchie. Hello Nadine.
Hello.
Nadine is Orillia, the housing coordinator for Orillia Housing Resource Center, correct?
That's correct.
And welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here. We've had a couple of conversations about homelessness, and I would love for you to share with everyone something about things we don't know about homelessness. And the fact that it affects all of our communities, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
It does,
yes.
Yeah, so please share.
Okay, well, we do have a lot of homeless in Orillia. A lot of people don't realize that we do have them because many of them are what we call hidden homeless. So these are kids that are staying in someone's basement, or it could be a family that's staying in someone's maybe unfurnished basement, or just staying with relatives temporarily. Those are considered hidden homeless because they don't have their own home. And I've often said to people, if you don't have a wall to hang your favorite picture on, then you're homeless. Right. And sadly enough, we have many people that fit that category here in Orillia. We have many single people and single parents that are homeless in our community. We have the odd overt homeless where you actually see somebody out on the street.
Right.
But even then they find ways to hide themselves. So again, we get back to what we call hidden homeless.
Yes, and I think a lot of people, because you don't see it, like when you go to the big cities, you see people literally sleeping on the street. So we believe in our, small, compassionate rural communities, it isn't a problem. But when the word hidden homeless, that pulls at my heartstrings, because our homes are very important to us. That's your safe place to go to. And when I can't imagine what that would be like to not have your own home.
Yes, of course, and it disrupts the whole family, and it's not healthy for our community to have homeless people, because in order to have a healthy community, you have to have healthy families who are living in secure, adequate, affordable housing. And that is something that our community and many communities across Canada simply do not have anymore, is affordable housing, adequate housing. We have a lot of seniors that have walkers or they're in wheelchairs, and we have disabled people that can't manage stairs. So there's a lot of those units are not available to many of our citizens, and a lot of people don't realize that.
No, well, we're all very busy in our silos of going to work and running around with kids and children, after school, and again, because we don't see it, we don't really understand that it is actually a critical problem in our society, isn't it?
It is a very big problem in our society. I think I've heard stats up to 22,000 people.
Yes, well, we were speaking earlier, and I pulled, there were statistics from 2013, CBC News, saying that on any given night, 30,000 Canadians are homeless, and over 200,000 experience homelessness in any given year. 50,000 of those people would be what we would consider hidden homeless.
That's right. Yeah.
And there are many reasons why people become homeless, and many of them, they're already in crisis, aren't they?
That's right.
And
we have many people that lose their job, and then they can't pay the rent, and they get evicted, and then therefore they're homeless. We've had people that have had tragic fires happen, and that has left them on the street as well. We've had a number of rooming houses here in Orillia where that's happened. And illness is a big factor in a lot of people losing their employment, and they're unable to work, and they have to go on welfare, and welfare just doesn't give that much money. $680 for a single person, and the average rent of a room in Orillia is $550.
Well, so how you can't even survive on that.
No, and that's for a single person. And when you have one-bedroom apartments going for $950 plus your utilities, which we all know are going up as well, then we're really creating a real system of poverty here in our communities without having affordable housing.
Yeah. So what can we do? We need to create a culture of change where, this is a wonderfully bringing awareness. And well, like you said, in your office, there are two of you. I said, do you do fundraising? But there's only two of you because it's underfunded as well. So
That's right.
So we all, as compassionate communities, we need to be aware and what can we do? What should people do to help create change?
Well, I think it's really important to change our mindset. I think that affordable doesn't mean that you've got the Hells Angels moving in next door,
Yes.
or you've got the Clampetts moving in next door.
Right.
I mean, it simply means that it's affordable housing for people based on their income. A senior only makes $1,300 a month. Well, they can't afford $1,000 a month in rent. I mean, let's just do the math.
Right.
Is it fair to say to that senior citizen, we don't want you in our backyard?
Right.
That's just not good. So I think we just need to reevaluate our values as a community, understand the problem. These are not problem people. And housing resource centers, we have outreach workers, although we only have a part-time one at this time.
Right.
But they work with these clients, so if there are problems, we can intervene and interject. Donating to the Housing Resource Center. We have 31,000 people in our community. If everyone gave $1,
Yes,
that would be $31,000 for our nonprofit charitable agency.
Amazing.
We'd be able to hire maybe a coordinator that could do a fundraising for us. We could hire our outreach worker full-time as opposed to part-time.
Right.
So it's values, mindset, donating, pushing our politicians. What are you going to do about this problem?
Yeah, I think part of the issue is a lot of times, there isn't the awareness, and I think now that we've said hidden homeless, you hear that, and I think that we need to say, okay, what can I do about this? But a lot of people think if I can't do something big, I can't, I'm not going to bother. But like you said, if everybody gave $1, that could create such change, or donated just a bit of their time. Don't do something to create awareness, or even talking to people about it. Say, wow, did you know that this is a big problem in our community? There's a lot of philanthropists out there that have a lot of money, perhaps that they could donate to your nonprofit organization. But I think until it hits your family, and it can happen to anyone. I mean, my mother lives in affordable housing. It's a beautiful place in Huntsville, and I know there aren't a lot of choices, and it's still, it's not cheap, but it's, affordable housing. That doesn't mean there's wonderful people that live there. So we have to getting past the mindset, not in my backyard.
That's right.
People say, oh, I don't want them living there. And it's seniors, it's single mothers, it's families and displaced people. And when we spoke before, you had talked about a man who no longer could get to his apartment because he wasn't able to climb the stairs anymore.
Correct. That's correct. Yeah, his disability was deteriorating at a fast rate, and he had an apartment, but he couldn't walk to it. So he was sleeping in his car. And so we were able to take him off the street through some of the wonderful programs that we do have in our agency, and we were able to take him off the street and put him up in a place for a little while until he found suitable housing for him, and he has found suitable housing.
Wonderful.
So it was a real success story. I think he was probably about a month that we were working with him, and we were able to find something that just fit his needs completely.
Well, thank goodness. And you said even just this morning before you arrived here, you helped a woman in crisis.
That's right. We helped stop her eviction so she would not be on the street. She was 1 minute to being on the street.
It's winter. I didn't think you could evict people in the winter.
Yes, it can. Landlords can evict at any time.
Really?
Yes.
See, that's in my mind said, oh, people wouldn't be able to be evicted. I mean, that would be, what would you do in the middle of winter? But that's,
But it happens.
Ay.
Yeah.
So what, how can people get information? How can we educate ourselves? Where should we go from here?
Well, I think connecting with our organization is one very good way. We have lots of pamphlets in our office that we can offer to people. People are more than welcome to contact our agency at 705-325-3883.
Yes.
And they can certainly talk to me if they have any concerns or if they have any questions. From time to time, there's some really great articles in the newspaper. And, stay current. Stay on top of this issue. Don't let it go to bed, so to speak, like they talk in the newspaper world.
Yes.
Don't let it go to bed. You really need to stay focused. Volunteer. There's lots of organizations. Habitat for Humanity is a fantastic organization that actually builds housing for people that are struggling. I mean, that's a great opportunity to lend a hand, paint a wall, hammer some nails in the wall or whatever.
Yeah.
Just do something. Donate. There's a Walk for the Cold for the Lighthouse that's coming up, I think February 25th. Walk for that organization. They're building a new shelter system. So, you know, let's support them.
Absolutely.
There's lots of opportunities, not just ours, but there are other opportunities in town to help.
Yes, and they're building a shelter, a new shelter in Orillia.
It's called Building Hope.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know all the details, but I just know that it is happening, and that they are raising money now to actually build the building. They have the property, and it's right next door to the common roof where we are.
Wonderful.
So it's going to be a good
fit.
A good fit, yes.
And the thing I remember in Huntsville when they were doing they were building a home for a family, and I knew the family, and you know they were hardworking people, but their old home had mold, and it was making the mom sick, and so but they couldn't afford a new home. So Habitat for Humanity, they stepped in and built a home. And once again, I could only donate an hour that week, but we went and hauled off garbage and did what we could in that 1 hour. And that's the thing, just because you can't go help with this building for hours, but go donate some time or money or whatever, or even the awareness, so that everybody understands how important this is. And this is for, sometimes some of these people just need a helping hand, and then they carry on and eventually get their own home and whatever, but they could just be in a crisis. And it's up to all of us to take care of everyone in our community, I believe very strongly, because if you have this wonderful, great life, and yes, you're very busy, but even donating a little bit of your time, a little bit of money can save another person, truly.
Absolutely.
Truly. So I really do applaud you for everything that you do. I know that you're very passionate about this, and you care deeply. And you even said, didn't you had high school, we were talking about high school students when they do volunteer stuff. Wouldn't that be great for them? They have to do their volunteer stuff.
Absolutely.
Yes,
there's lots of volunteer opportunities in our community, and if they call Information Orillia, there's a complete volunteer database.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I once again thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for caring so much, and for being here today.
Thank you.
You're okay. And next up we have Colin Wackett, our Orillia's 2016 Citizen of the Year. We will be back in a moment. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the program. Colin Wackett has joined me. Hello, Colin.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here. So, 2016 Citizen of the Year in Orillia. How did you get that title? Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. And I really don't know. There was somebody that nominated me, and it was accepted. So I'm just one of those people that had a friend who thought I did good work.
Right, so obviously, Colin, you're a little bit humble, clearly, because I have been reading up on you, and you have been doing volunteer work and serving your community wherever your community was, not just in Orillia, but before that as well. You have been doing the service and volunteer work for over 50 years, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so
Yes.
don't you think that maybe that might have something to do with it, that you deserve
Oh, possibly.
this?
Yes.
Yes. Look at how humble you are. So tell me a little bit about some of the volunteer work that you have done.
Oh, well, it all began when I joined an organization called the JCs, long since forgotten, but they trained young men for business
Okay.
and how to deal in the community, how to be a professional in your career. And it was really exciting stuff. And as a result, I was nominated by the city I lived in, or community, which was Etobicoke, for a position on the Traffic Safety Council. So I accepted, and 2 years later I was chairman of the Traffic Safety Council, and then it just
Grew from there.
grew from there.
Yes.
I was into volunteer work at that moment in time.
So when you do volunteer work, what does that do for you as a person? Because I think that one quote you said to me, and I loved it, was, "You live life to the fullest through service to worthy causes within your community." And how does that make you feel? Why do you do it?
Well, number one, how do you feel? A sense of accomplishment, if you ever finish the project, but
Right.
a sense of self-worth. I've done something, it was successful, what can I do next? So it's just that inner feeling that I did something for someone else.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we spoke earlier this week in the fact that everyone has something to give, don't they?
Yes.
It doesn't mean you have to do the heavy lifting. It doesn't mean you have to give a lot of money, even a lot of your time. Sometimes giving an hour of your time to someone who is lonely, or sitting and doing bingo tickets somewhere and being a part of something
Absolutely.
can change that person's life, or can change your life.
Absolutely.
We all have no matter how young and no matter how old, we all have something to give, don't we?
Yes, we do. And I talk about that frequently, that when you say, I need volunteers, for example, to a group, and people say, well, at my age, I can't do, they're thinking physical labor.
That's right.
And you can contribute by sitting at a door in a chair, checking people in. Somebody has to do that.
Right.
If you can't do physical work, and believe it or not, most volunteer work is not physical work.
Exactly. That's right.
And people have, from their past, skills in organization, in speaking to groups, in all kinds of things that they can pass on. They can teach others.
Exactly.
You do not have to lift 100-pound bags of potatoes
No.
to be a volunteer.
You only need one person. Let's get an 18-year-old to do that, but the rest
Exactly.
of us.
So-
and it gives you that sense of purpose too, doesn't
Yes,
it?
it does.
That sense of purpose and belonging to
Yes.
your community. And I would love, you said volunteerism seems to be a dying art sometimes, and I think we need to revive it, because
Yes.
you do, well, just like speaking to Nadine with the homelessness, there's so much that we can do.
There is a great deal. A
Is-
great deal.
Yes, and
Yeah.
even if an hour, $1, or just making people aware of the problem,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Yes. So another thing that you bring awareness to, because it's a journey that you went on, was prostate cancer, right? Many years ago, you battled prostate cancer.
still am.
You still are, but it started, when was your first?
1999.
1999, you were first diagnosed.
Yes.
My goodness. So did you go through different treatment
Oh,
regimes
yes,
throughout
did
the
I ever?
years? All the
Oh, yes.
whole thing, eh?
Still am.
Right. But you didn't let that stop you, did it? Like you just keep
No.
on keeping on.
Yes.
Yes, and I see you're wearing a shirt that says Huronia Motorcycle Ride for Dad. What is
Yes.
that about?
The Ride for Dad began, this is going to be the 13th year. I was fortunate enough by the people that conceived the idea to run it from Orillia were OPP officers who called me because I was associated with a group called the Orillia Prostate Cancer Awareness Group, which is a
Okay.
group that brings in speakers into Orillia, scientists, researchers, doctors, to talk to the community here about prostate cancer.
Okay.
And so I got a call and saying, you know something about prostate cancer, would you like to join our committee? So bingo, off I went, and then we ran the first one 13 years ago in May. And I got involved.
Right.
As with committees, as the years go by, they change. People, well, in our case, people with prostate cancer died, and new ones came in. And eventually I became the co-chair of the ride. And we now have a standing committee of about 9 people who work year-round preparing for the Ride for Dad. The whole objective is, it is motorcycles, which includes lawyers, doctors, police officers,
All sorts of
it's
people, yes.
a microcosm of the community.
Yes, how wonderful.
And we get between 500 and 600 plus motorcycles
Wow.
into Orillia. They, in turn, donate money, and money that they have received from friends, relatives, whatever. And last year, with our sponsors and our donors and our events, on the 28th of May, when it was all tallied up, we had raised $121,000.
Oh my goodness.
Of
That is
that-
incredible.
I know,
Wow.
we were so
Wow.
happy.
That's amazing.
And that's all the riders and the sponsors.
Jeez, that's
They,
incredible.
we've got incredible sponsors that have been with us for years. We just have a great organization.
Obviously, my goodness. So
Yeah.
raising awareness so that people know, about
The men-
prostate cancer.
yes.
Go get your exams once a year, right?
And those who have been diagnosed with prostate cancer get information on all of the things that are available.
Yes.
We have, to get a grant for research, they apply to our national Ride for Dad, and certain research projects are chosen. And if we've had a research project every single year that we funded. In order to receive that grant, they must come to our ride
Good.
and explain to the riders how their money is going to be used in research. And that
Perfect.
is
Yes.
perfect.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
every rider knows what they did
Yes.
is funding this research
Wonderful.
to cure prostate cancer.
Yes.
And now they're all fired up for next year.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes. And the doctors see the people that raise the money that they're going to be using.
Well, that's wonderful. So there's so many messages in there. First of all, look what can be created.
Yes.
Prostate cancer does not have to stop you from living your life to the fullest. You
No.
have not let anything stop you. Just keep on keeping on. But I did say that I did want to, after 27 years of nursing and hearing it so many times, I did want to let 50% of the men out there know it is not prostrate. There's only one R, and it's in the beginning of the word. How many people say prostrate
Oh, a lot.
cancer? Yes.
A lot.
But that's just on a sidebar. But
Yes.
incredible. But so you continue to serve your community. You do so many things. What are you doing? What occupies your time these days?
Well, I've got Ride for Dad, which we're right in the middle of.
Okay.
I've got the awareness group, which goes all year. I've got the Legion. I've got coming up in April Kids Day during the Perch Festival, and I work with the OPP on
So
that.
what's Kids Day?
Kids Day.
Yeah,
All games.
Oh, okay.
And I do the setup every year, and it's very worthwhile. The kids get to know the police officers.
Oh, wonderful.
Because they're all in uniform.
Okay.
And the kids now associate with the OPP officers. Fantastic thing. And they have fun while they're doing it.
So great.
And they develop a respect for the police officer because they realize they're part of the community.
Absolutely.
And they're organizing games for them.
Which is great, and you would diffuse the fear and know that police officers are someone you can go to. And I
Exactly.
think that's wonderful.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So then I've got a few speaking engagements to do about Ride for Dad. So I'm
You're a little
pretty
bit
busy. But you
yes.
know what you said, you don't give in. Well, that's what Winston Churchill said during the war, who was a hero of mine because I was alive during that time, a student. And he said, never, never, never give in.
Right.
And so you never, never, never give in because you've always got a contribution to make.
You really do, and I think that is one of the most important points of today. You're never too young. You're never too old.
No.
I don't care if you're in a wheelchair. You know, I have
Yes.
seen so many lonely people that would just love for someone to just have a cup of tea with them.
Yeah.
You don't have to lift those heavy bags of potatoes to volunteer. You don't have to donate millions of dollars, but be
Nope.
present, be a voice, be someone's
Yes.
company for somebody. There's
Yes.
always something we can do, isn't there?
There is.
Yes.
There is.
So I really don't think it's a big mystery why you were Citizen of the Year at all, Colin, because you are absolutely wonderful. You are a pillar in this community, and you're a great example for people living life to the fullest. Live life to the fullest through service to worthy causes within your community.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful advice. And I thank you so much for everything you do, for bringing awareness for prostate cancer and all of the wonderful all the wonderful volunteerism you do, and for just being just a really wonderful, nice guy with a great smile.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that's it for this episode of Real Life Talks. This is Yvonne Heath. My piece of advice: plan your life, plan your death, and then just love your life to death, and always bring your own tambourine to the party. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.